My daughter is the reincarnation of an unparalleled and I am a useless mortal who cannot cultivate. In order to reach the peak of cultivation as soon as possible, my 16-year-old daughter plans to kill me to sacrifice because the wedding was the sudden awakening of his past life memories. Just known, she is the reincarnation of the Empress of the Heavenly Palace. He cultivated the Supreme Master's way of forgetting love to the point but they were killed by gangsters. Now it's time to reincarnate 1,000 years later in order to achieve the righteous Teishangdao and become an immortal. He decided to cut off all conspiracies, but he himself doesn't know. I am the river of forgetfulness in the underworld with an immortal body. He's going to ascend, must pass through the Wangchuan River. And today is my daughter's wedding day. The whole Shanghai city is bustling with activity. Come to congratulate, but my daughter closed the door tightly, shouting to regret the marriage. I got the news. I quickly rushed to my daughter Ayan's room. Yana, what are you doing? But what kind of injustice did you suffer? Talk to Dad. Dad makes the decision for me. Ayan is sitting in front of the dressing mirror, glanced at me. Father and daughter had a dream. I pointed at my wife thrown on the bed. Coaxed in a good voice. Ayan, how about we talk while changing into wedding clothes? If you are dawdling, you will really miss your time. Ayan is unmoved. His back is straight. Eyes indifferent. Not as close to me as before. I dreamed I was the Empress of Heaven. This life is a tribulation in the mortal world, so I can't get married. I was shocked. Take a breath. The words of dissuasion suddenly got stuck in my throat. Father, the Empress of Tiangong has always practiced the ruthless way. I should have no father or mother. No father, no son. The love between you and me is love with me, daughter. Cause and effect here. I must cut off. I looked at myself with displeasure. The little girl I have raised for 16 years. There was struggle in her eyes. But he still took out the sword from behind his back, gradually facing my heart. Father, you are just a mortal with no cultivation. And I am the reincarnation of the Empress of Heavenly Palace. Destined to ascend to immortality. You can go in peace. That sword penetrated my heart without any hindrance. Ayan closed her eyes. A tear slipped from the corner of his eye. When I opened it again, I was shocked. Father, I casually pulled out the sword. Looking at him with disappointment. Ayan, how can any cultivator become an immortal by relying on his master? Ayan was shocked by my actions. He stabbed me with the carrot sword with all his strength. This time it was the parents who were stabbed. I let out a long sigh. He simply shook his neck slightly from side to side. Nothing happened. Daughter, did your father forget to tell you? I am immortal. The housekeeper saw that I was bored in the room all the time. Come over with medicinal food to comfort the master. The lady is young. Thinking about the next life, I still don't understand the master's good intentions. Not more than a few months. The lady is back. I have made a big fuss about her wedding that day. It's hard to accept the sight of my immortality. Everyone in the world ran away alone. My heart is on fire. I can't help but think of the time when I picked up Ayan. I love to eat fish, particularly fond of cold fish. Cold spring fish are usually found in clean flowing mountain streams in living water, hard to find in the market. For this starter, I climbed a lot of mountains. I found Ayan on one of the hills. The mountain is neither high nor dangerous, but for a baby waiting to be fed. Like a natural mold. Without food, he will starve to death in a few days. What's more, there are often wild beasts. It's hard to say whether he starved to death first or was eaten by a wild beast first. Name Zhang Yanyan. It is not easy to raise a daughter in this world. In troubled times, I did some business, purchased several properties. It also gave him a stable life. When a woman gets married, it's a lifetime event. I went through thousands of choices to choose the right woman. That man came from a poor family, but good conduct. Both ability and political integrity. Ambitious. The future is limitless. I thought it was a big day. Unexpectedly, it was the time when women turn against each other. A 7-year-old baby already arrived in a blink of an eye. The age when you can draw a sword against me. Now he wants to leave me and seek truth. Asking for it is still ruthless. I'm quite sad. I have no intention of caring about him. If you run away, just run away. Anger, obsession, it all depends on personal nature. 11 days later, I'm packing my luggage. I prefer to settle for many years. Want to go out for a walk. Half of the luggage received. The old housekeeper suddenly ran in a hurry. Master, Mrs. Back. It's in the front hall. I stopped packing my luggage. Back so soon. When I passed, she was devouring food at the dining table. Her dress is full of dirt. All the hairpins on my head are gone. Face dirty. It seems that he suffered a lot outside. Only then did I realize how good my home is. Called me over. He threw himself in front of me and cried loudly. My father is obsessed with me. I'm so confused. Father, please forgive me. I looked at Ayan who was crying and blowing out snot bubbles from her nose. I finally relented for once. After all, she is a woman who was raised by her own hands. However, this soft-hearted person got a chill in his heart at night. Ayan said he should honor his father. He made a bowl of fish soup with his own hands. I took it over and realized something was wrong. Hand-hold and spoon stew. Ayan's face was obviously palpitating. Then he pretended not to care and asked his father, "What's wrong?" I put the fish soup down. I feel like I'm a bit of a failure as a mortal. Ayan, you still want to kill me? The fish soup is laced with poison. This trick is more than enough to bring down everyone in the world. Ayan corrected herself, suddenly stood up. He clapped his hands. Two men in Taoist robes, walking from outside the house, showed the law enforcement card in his hand. It was actually the Immortal Realm, and Yuan Huang law enforcement forces established, especially in charge of blackmail and causing everything goes smoothly. Today I'm here to guard and catch monsters. Trial at the law enforcement hall. You will be killed. He finally tore off his cute and obedient coat, revealing the cold arrogance that belongs only to the Empress of Tiangong. Without any struggle, let them tie me up. After all, I'm just a mortal now. Cold weather. A group of servants, looking directly at the sudden intrusion, and the lady who became a stranger, kneeled down hastily, at a loss. Only the old housekeeper was in tears. Passionate enough that the two of them looked directly at each other. My master has always been a good person. Please be aware of this, sir. He has done many good things for the people of Shanghai City. I'm not lying. Please understand. Please forgive my master. Looking straight into the dark mask. After hearing Ayan's killing cry, knife falling from hand, I closed my eyes. Zhang Niangyan starts from today. The relationship between you and my father and daughter has been severed. I am the lord of the Forgotten River in the underworld. You have to ascend and avoid the river of oblivion. Zhuanghua River. You'll never be able to survive again. The dungeon of the law enforcement hall is very lively. On the second floor underground, locked up with a few ragged beggars. A bald-headed little beggar came over. Brother, do you have anything to eat with you? I touched. Take out the candy from your wallet. It was the old housekeeper who secretly stuffed it in. He suffered it as a child. I don't feel at ease if I don't have anything to eat. In addition, he always touches me and puts old beggar holds candy in mouth. I tasted it like intoxication for a long time. Big brother just now. Look how well you dress. Can still afford sweets, not like someone who can't afford the fine. Why was he imprisoned? I'm fine in jail. Then he told the beggar what he had experienced in the past few months. They form a circle. Listen with gusto. The bald beggar was the most interesting. Your daughter is nothing. If I had your ability, I could twist your head off. I will definitely be able to go on to perform. Make a lot of money. 3 days go by in a flash. The judgment stand was filled with people. The prisoners were led to watch. After all, this is the most real and bloody education. The bald beggar kneels to my right. This is his first time watching. The judgment stand is stained with blood. He swallowed his saliva and said, Brother, I might be the one on this stage next time. For that candy's sake. Don't worry, I'll go find you when you're in hell. Let's give up. I will follow you from now on. I couldn't help but laugh out loud, seeing him a little angry. Then the correct way starts from 8. I know how to divination. You will definitely be a rich and powerful person in the future. It is still unknown for more than 10,000 people in the empty-headed beggar was stunned for a moment. You can also do divination. Brother, you know so much. This compliment made me blush. No chance to talk to you again. Just look at me and put me on trial. On the 9 steps of the judgment seat, sitting are 3 law enforcement elders looking at all living beings from a distance. I chatted out of boredom. Heavy shackles binding hands and feet, quietly waiting for the trial to end. The law enforcement elder finally finished Rong Cheng's verdict. The result is no surprise. 1 word to kill. Long Mian appeared on the trial stage. One after another, thunder struck down for feet. To make those who are being punished disappear into ashes, the stone mouths shattered in an instant. The material turns into powder. The thunder faded away one after another. Among dragon clouds, the howling wind swept across the sky and the earth. 5 gourds of water splashed. The majestic and vast forest. The waves are held back from the judgment seat. Make ripples. In Zhang Niangyan's surprised eyes, I grinned. The Lord of the Forgotten River, who has been wandering the world, finally returned home today. There is a river in the underworld named Wanchuan. According to legend, the Lord of the Forgotten Path of Heaven, conceived and born by rootless water. Immortality. Immortal. There is a stone beside the Wanchuan River. It's called Sanchang Stone. When I arrive, Pongman is leaning on the stone. Goes off. Loud snoring. This is how to greet old friends. I'm a little speechless. Turn around and walk to the Nave Bridge and sit down. Quietly enjoy the beautiful scenery of Wanchuan Insects River. And snakes everywhere. The fishy wind hits your face. Blood and water rolling. A lonely ghost who cannot be reincarnated. Floating and sinking inside. The River Lord has returned to the underworld. I didn't expect the miracle of returning home this time. It's actually related to the fairy world. That's all. Old lady. I've waited too long. Pongman didn't know when she woke up. He walked over slowly, hunched over. I stared at the Wanchuan River for half a moment, somewhat surprised. Only 100 years. Why are there so many lonely ghosts in the river? Mangpo fired a crossbow at Pluto. Nuzui lowered his voice and said that in recent decades, the surrounding area is not encountering monsters and being in trouble. Pluto has a sad face every day. I heard that the superior demon is also realistic. A few days ago, there was a bloody storm in the East China Beijing Barren Mountains. Those wolf monsters. I have always kept a low profile and acted like a monster. I don't know what's going on between my legs. I had a falling out with heaven a few years ago. The fight was fierce. Besides, the emperor of the world is faint and incompetent. Foreigners in the southern Jin dynasty could not bear the harsh conditions. War breaks out. The world is full of evil bitches. That's why there are so many lonely ghosts. Everything is in ruins. Sweeping Kirshu 4. There's a pair of invisible hands. Use heaven and earth as a chessboard. All things are chess pieces. To separate these 4 realms and 8 wastelands. Just talking. A little kid ran over. Greetings for the return of the Lord. Pluto invites the master of the pavilion to discuss matters with Pongman. Shook her head like a rattle in rejection. Walking very fast. A few steps away. Don't go, don't go. Busy in the palace of Hades. The always nagging Pluto. I said a few words of welcome back. Suddenly fell silent. After a long while, he said to the pavilion master, No. That Zhang Yanyan sent someone to send this over. Look at me taking the sword hard from his hand. Now that Zhang Yanyan can go to the law enforcement hall. He must have made contact with the fairy world. He was actually able to persuade the human emperor and the immortal alliance are willing to make peace with me. I hope I can transform him, but he has no destiny as empress. Haven't got it yet. My magic power is weak. None of the prosperous days when he ruled the fairy world. The forces in the fairy world are complicated. How many people can be truly happy with him? I asked my doubts. He decided. Because nowadays, the power of faith in the fairy world is weakening day by day. Position in jeopardy. That's why they placed their hope in this future empress. But the Lord doesn't care how you choose. The underworld always helps relatives or not. How about the fairy world? How is the human world? Everyone has their own way of cause, and there is no reason to play with your life. I thought about it for a long time, still decided to accept the invitation from the immortal alliance. Rushed to come the human emperor. Before leaving, Mrs. Meng stood by the nail bridge to see me. Damn it, old lady. No gift. I'll give it to you personally. He waved. A familiar figure walked from the bridge. I knelt down and cried when I saw Master, old slave, I finally see you. It's actually the old housekeeper. I think it was Mrs. Meng who helped me take care of his soul. Leave him waiting for me in the underworld. I solemnly thanked Peng Mang. He waved his hand. Leave a message and come back soon. Then he was hunched over and slowly walked away. Old butler Zhang settled in the Wenchuan River Palace. I'm traveling alone. I'm going to ask Zhang Yanyan why. His way of Kunlungshu is worthy of Puyi, the ancestor of all mountains. As soon as you step in, you will feel full of energy. Refreshed. There's a magical power on the top of the mountain. When I arrive, everyone from the fairy world and the human world has arrived. Zhang Yanyan. I replaced the one I always prepared for him. Those ordinary clothes, wearing a bright red empress robe. It makes people feel distant for no reason. Let me in. He subconsciously lowered his hat to Then I forced myself to look forward to it. Lord, he was the protector of Mount Tai in our eyes before. How offended. I hope Lord he will forgive me. The first one to speak. He's a burly man wearing a general's robe. I thought about it. He comes from the world. He should be the general in charge of the enforcement hall in the human world. Inside Yushan Shrine. The two factions of the immortal world and the human world are clearly divided. The emperor has not arrived yet. Yushan clasped his fists again and said, Our Majesty, I was specifically asked to attend on your behalf. Think about it. Already like the human emperor's cautious and life-saving style, he probably doesn't dare to come here. Zhang Yanyan glanced at me quickly again. The eyes reveal the deepest feelings. Neighbors in the fairy world are pushing and shoving. Finally launched a representative. Liu Xianzhen has little experience. Has to take the lead. I'm waiting to come today. There is another life. I hope the Lord of Unity will consider it for the sake of all sentient beings. The Empress in the three. It's not that I don't give Xian some face. I'm really curious. When did I ask? The affairs of your heavenly palace are equivalent to those of sentient beings. Everyone in the fairy world calls me Yuyun, quite angry. And now you are asking for help from me. His face turns blue and white for a while. Ugly tight. I sneered and thanked the immortals. Sitting high in the sky, looking down at all living cannibalistic offerings, but he thinks highly of himself. I even forgot how to ask for help. Before immortal Lord Jin when ascended, is a scholar. The one who knows best. See me neglecting them. The Empress was very angry. You are the master of Wenchuan River. See life and death in the world. For the sake of all people in the world. How can you behave like this? Waiting for the Empress to return to her throne. Peaceful. Don't you agree with your own? Everyone in the fairy world who was sitting around nodded frequently, picked my ears. It's really annoying. Zhang Yanyan's face turned red. I couldn't help but ask, since you promised to make peace, and why do you stand idly by? Could it be that you still want to grudge me for giving you two swords? If you do this, you can come back again. Seeing Jing Wang Xianzhen's eyebrows raised, I want to be verbose again. Listening impatiently, simply ask Zhang Yanyan directly. What is your way? Zhang Yanyan was stunned. Then he quickly replied ruthlessly. I am the Empress of Tiangong. Natural cultivation of the ruthless. What is the ruthless way? A desperate case. Cut off the cause and effect of love. Heartless. Feng Wei is the merciless way. I shook my head in disappointment. Tao had no intention of Zhang Yanyan. Is it your ruthless way to save the world at the expense of others? Ruthlessness, greed, anger, obsession and hatred. Now let go of geometry. Zhang Yanyan, you want to kill me. After all, it's for yourself. Or for the sake of the world. Even lie to yourself. What else are we talking about ascension? Zhang Yanyan was made to frown by my question. Everyone in the palace was a little silent. I continued. It's not that I won't cross you. It's because you don't have any heart-stealing intentions at all. This is so straightforward. Zhang Yanyan's face suddenly turned ugly. He looked to both sides. Gritting his teeth, he said, That's the case. Don't blame me for being unkind. I was shocked that something was wrong. Step back immediately. A wave of violent energy came through the air. There's a faint talisman shining on it. And all the immortals have wept and exerted their fairy tales, intertwined into a biting cold light. I'm too lazy to laugh even if I'm killed. There's a man holding a banana leaf at the door of the store, laughing frivolously. I have long heard that the Lord of the Wenchuan River was born from heaven, ruthless and transformed so not talented. I've long wanted to ask for advice. Banana leaves inside me to carry the dripping rain. Like all the roots are exhausted. It's like you want to poke me into a sieve. Comparing the power of water with the owner of the forgotten It's really river. A bit ridiculous. I didn't take him seriously. Run only lightly. Dripping all over. A fierce storm formed out of thin air. The next moment there was a violent surge. The sort of heavy rain is like raindrops near the quietly disappeared. Didn't make any waves. This trick is to turn the spring breeze into rain. So unbelievable. Banana leaves are broken. They are all fanning each other. Yoshino has been cheating on Shen Hamao and a group of human warriors, dumbfounded. I stepped forward and fell to the ground in Jingguang Shenzhen. I was just about to scold him until he was bloody. Haven't spoken yet. The communication talisman on my waist suddenly rang. Why is there someone in the fairy world sneaking into the underworld? The bridge was destroyed. Most of the demons in the ghost realm took advantage of the turmoil. The faces of everyone in the palace changed. Only Zhang Yanyan and a few relatives around him. No look of surprise. Everyone in the fairy world also reacted immediately. Zhang Yanyan was surrounded in disbelief. Keep questioning. We didn't agree. Just trap the river lord in Kunlun ruins. Why secretly send people to destroy the bridge across the Zhang Yanyan's face turned pale. Still tough talking. He won't cross me. Can't I cross by myself? Jingguang Shenzhen hasn't gotten up from the ground yet. Shout out to the ground. It's a demon that confuses the world and has caused great trouble to him now.